Dear future summer, I hope this letter finds you well, hopefully a bit wiser, and still rocking that charming sense of humor we've always enjoyed. As I write this at the ripe old age of 26. Yes, I can imagine how you smiling at that because how young that sounds now. But I wanted to share some insights I've gained about life, particularly about what it truly means to be the main character. So, grab a cup of coffee or whatever trendy beverage you're into these days. Get comfortable and let's take a stroll down memory lane and into the future. Birthdays have always been our favorite celebration, haven't they? That magical time of the year when we get to feel extra special, like a cat who's found the perfect sunbeam. And you know what? I hope they're just getting better and better as we get older. Let me tell you about the year I turned 26 and had an epiphany that added a whole new dimension to our birthday joy. For years, I approached my birthday with the excitement of the kid in a candy store mixed with the intensity of a general planning a major campaign. I wanted everything to be perfect, the perfect outfit, the perfect party, and the perfect picture. I was determined to have the best day ever. And while those celebrations were fun, I always feel like something was missing. This year was different. Instead of planning for a month and celebrating for a year, I decided to celebrate for 15 days. It was my birth fortnight and a day extravaganza. The funny thing? This extended celebration taught me something crucial. The joy of birthdays isn't just about being the center of attention. It's about sharing the joy with others. Over those 15 days, I had quiet dinners with close friends, family, tried a new hobby, and yes, threw a party too. But I discovered something amazing. The joy of celebrating doesn't have to be limited to just one day. And while I would still love being the birthday person, I found a way to extend that magical feeling into more days of the years. I realized that while being the birthday star is fantastic, there's an extra layer of magic in using your special day or days to spread joy and create meaningful experience. It's like being a lantern. Instead of just standing in the spotlight, you get to share your light with everyone around you for multiple glorious days instead of just one. Each day of celebration brought its own unique flavor of happiness. Whether it was the quiet contentment of reading birthday cards over morning coffee, or the exhilaration of trying yoga for the first time, every moment felt purposeful and precious. So, future summer, I hope you kept this tradition alive and kicking. I hope our birthdays have become not just a day-long celebration, but an extended festival of us, our connections, our growth and achievement, and the positive impact we can have on the world. I hope each year you find new ways to make our birthday both personally enjoyable and generous in spirit, stretching the joy over as many days as possible. And hey, if you managed to plan a birth month extravaganza by now, I tip my party hat to you. Just remember, it's not about choosing between enjoying the spotlight or sharing it. It's about doing both for as long as we can. Because let's face it, spreading joy is always worth celebrating. Now, I know you might be wondering, but isn't being in the spotlight part of being the main character? Well, Let me share a little wisdom I picked up along the way. Being constantly in the center of attention is like standing under a spotlight in a room full of mirrors. At first, it's exhilarating. You see yourself from every angle, bathed in golden light. You hear applause and praise. Everyone tell you how much they appreciate you. But here's the thing. Living like that is about as nourishing as trying to survive on a diet of ice cream. Sure, it's sweet and fun at first, but eventually you realize you're missing out on the rich flavors life has to offer. When you're always the center of attention, your work can shrink. It becomes an echo chamber of your own voice, your own ideas, and your own limited experience. And let's face it, no matter how interesting we are, and yes, we do have our moments, we're just one person. Our perspectives, no matter how valid, are just one small part of the incredible diversity world that we have around us. The real magic happens when we learn to dance between the spotlight and the shadows. Sometimes we lead, sometimes we follow, sometimes we simply watch from the wings, learning from others who take center stage. It's in this dance that we find our true rhythm and our authentic voice. Remember that night at the karaoke bar when we choose to be backup dancer for us over being the main vocal. How much more fun it was than trying to steal the show. That's the kind of energy I hope we can carry on. The joy of being part of something bigger than ourselves. Here's another nugget of wisdom I picked up. Life is not a competition for the spotlight. I know, shocking, right? It turns out treating every social interaction like you're auditioning for the world's next top conversation dominator isn't actually the best way to go through life. Remember that friend that we have? Let's call her Spotlight Sally, who always had to one-up everyone's stories. If you mentioned you saw a cute dog in the park, certainly she would launch into a tale about the time she single-handedly saved a litter of puppies from a burning building. It was exhausted, wasn't it? Well, yeah, but it was exhausting because you also can't stand being the side character. If you had just sat back and enjoyed her fairy tale, you would have had a very good experience. So while future summer, I hope we learn to be more like a good potluck guest. Sometimes we bring the main dish, sometimes we bring the side, sometimes we just appreciate what others have brought to the table. Because here's the truth, everyone has their own storyline going on, and it's just as important to them as ours to us. Instead of always trying to be the star, I've learned the joy of being a great supporting character. And you know what? Being a supporting character doesn't mean dimming your own light. It means using your light to illuminate others, to help them shine brighter. It's about creating a constellation rather than trying to be the only star in the sky. I've started to see life more like a grand feast, where everyone brings something to the table. Some days, you bring your signature dish, your talent, your stories, your unique perspective. Other days, you're there to sample and appreciate what others have brought, to learn from their recipes and to be nourished by their experiences. Now, let's talk about something that I know has been a bit of a stumbling block for us, the quest for external validation. Future me, I hope you are smiling at how much time we used to spend worrying about other approval. But just in case you've forgotten, let me remind you why that's a bit of a dead end. Chasing after other people's approval is like trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much validation you pour in, it always seems to drain away, leaving you feeling empty and scrambling for more. It's exhausting, and ultimately, it doesn't really fill us up. Imagine if Einstein had waited for everyone's approval before publishing his theory of relativity. We'd probably still be stuck in the dark age of physicists, because he would be too busy taking everyone's opinions instead of working on his great invention. The truth is, our worth isn't determined by how many people clap for us or how many followers we have. It is determined by how true we are to ourselves, how kind we are to others, and how much we grow and learn each day. I've started to notice something interesting. The moments when I learn the most fulfilled are rarely the ones that get the most external recognition. It's the quiet victories, finishing a book that challenged my perspective, helping a stranger without anyone noticing, or mastering a small skill that I'm working on just for myself. Remember the first poem I wrote? Nobody see the many lines that I deleted, or how many cringy stories that I'm trying to build up in that poem. But finally, when we finish it from the start to finished, that feeling was pure gold. And it wasn't because anyone was watching or because we posted it online. It was just for us. So summer, I hope you learn to give yourself a metaphorical high five every morning, celebrating your own achievements, no matter how small. Every check on the to-do list worth a high five. Remember to floss? High five. Finally figure out how to make a birthday cake with a buttercream? That's worth at least 2 high fives. Let's chat about something that took me embarrassingly long to learn. The importance of setting boundaries. Future me, I hope you've gotten better at this, because let me tell you, it's a game changer. Setting boundaries doesn't mean building walls. It's not about shutting people out. It's about defining where you end and others begin. It's about recognizing that while you're the main character in your own life, you are not the main character in everyone else. There will be a family member who always have an opinion about our life choices, or that coworker who somehow made every conversation about themselves. While I've learned that it's okay to kindly but firmly remind people that this is our show, they are welcome to make a guest appearance, but they can't take over the whole season. Setting boundary is like being the director of your own life movie. You get to decide who gets a starry role, who is a supporting character, and who is just an extra in background. And yes, sometimes you have to say cut when someone tries to steal the scene. But here's what I really learned about boundaries. They're not just about saying no to others. They're about saying yes to yourself, yes to your needs, yes to your values, yes to your belief, and yes to your growth. When you set healthy boundaries, you're not being selfish, you're being self-respectful. It's like having a garden. Boundaries are the fence that keeps the rabbits from eating your carrots, but they also define the space where your flowers can bloom. They protect and nurture growth, while still allowing for connection and interaction with the world outside. Future summer, here's this real secret that I've discovered. Being the main character of your life doesn't mean you have to be center stage all the time. In fact, some of the most powerful scenes happen when you're not in the spotlight at all. Sometimes it's about the quietly sipping coffee in a cafe, observing the world around you. It's about cheering on your best friend when they achieve their dreams. It's even about those moments when you're ugly crying into a pin of ice cream after a tough day. Because, let's face it, even main characters have their lowest moments. When you're stepping away from the spotlight, you get to see the whole stage. You appreciate the intricate set design of life, the colorful cast of characters around you, and yes, even the occasional drama happened in the background. You learn, you grow, you become a more well-rounded person. I've learned that sometimes the most meaningful role we can play is that of the observer, the witness, the supporter. It's in these moments that we often gain our deepest insights and form our most genuine connections. Think about those peaceful mornings when we just sit on the balcony watching the world wake up. No phones, no cameras, no need to document or share, just being present in the moment. Those times often teach us more about life than any stereo role could ever. Future me, let's talk about something that's been on my mind lately. The delicate balance between experiencing life and capturing it. You know how we've always that person, with the camera ready to snap every moment. Well, I've started to question whether we sometimes so busy documenting our lives that we forget to live them. Remember that sunset at the beach last summer? The one where we spent 50 minutes trying to get the perfect shot, adjusting filters and angles, only to realize we missed out the most beautiful part of it. The moment taught me something profound about the difference between creating moments and capturing them. Don't get me wrong, I still love taking pictures and photos. But I've learned that sometimes, in some moments, those are meant to be experienced rather than documented. Some memories are more vivid when they're written only in our heart and not on our phone. I've started this new practice. For every event or gathering, I allow myself to take photos during the first 15 minutes. After that, the phone goes away and I focus on being present. It's amazing how much more you notice when you're not viewing the life through a screen. The way someone's eyes crinkle when they laugh, the exact tone of your friend's voice when they're telling a story they love, and the warm feeling of the sunlight hitting on your face. And you know what's funny? The memories I remember most vividly aren't the one I've captured in perfect detail. They're the ones where I was fully present. Like that dance party in the kitchen when we burned the cookies, or that deep conversation under the stars when my phone died. Those moments might not have made it into social media, but they attached forever in our memory. Here's something that took me a while to understand. How it's possible to feel utterly alone in a crowded room of friends, yet completely whole when sitting by yourself in a cafe full of strangers. Isn't it fascinating how the quantity of people around us has so little to do with the quality of our connection to life? I used to fear solitude like it was some kind of social failure. I would fill my calendar with meetups, parties, coffee dates, surrounding myself with people as if they were a shield against loneliness. But sometimes in the middle of those gatherings, surrounded by friends who knew all my stories and shared all my interests, I feel this implacable emptiness, like being in a play where everyone knew their lines, except me. Then there were those moments, sitting alone in a busy train station or foreign city's cafe, when I feel more connected to humanity than ever. There's something magical about being enormous in a crowd, isn't it? When you're alone among strangers, you're free to be whoever you want to be. There's no history to maintain, no expectations to meet, just the pure experience of existing alongside other humans, each living their own main character life. I've learned that true connection isn't about the number of people around you. It's about being genuine with yourself first. When you're comfortable in your own company, when you make peace with your thoughts and embrace your quirks, that's when real connections happen naturally. Whether you are with old friends or complete strangers. So, future Summer, I hope you continue to cultivate both types of experiences. I hope you're still enjoying those boisterous gatherings with friends, where everyone knows your name. But I also hope you have our traditional of solo adventures. Those days when we pick direction and start walking, moving, finding little cafes where nobody knows us and feeling perfectly content in our solitude. So, future Summer, here's what I hope you remember from this letter. Embrace your role as the main character by sometimes being the best supporting actor in someone else's story. Cheer others on. Learn from the ensemble. Remember that the real magic happens when everyone plays their part. The best stories, the ones that stick with us long after the credits roll, are not about the one when one person shining alone. They're about how we all shine together. They're about the connections, growth, and the beautiful messiness of human existence. Life is like a grand theatrical production where the stage is constantly shifting. The script is being written as we go, and everyone gets their moment to shine. Some days, you're the star. Some days, you're understudy. And some days, you're that person who making sure the spotlight hits the right mark at the right time. And you know what? Each role is equally important. Each perspective adds depth to the story. Each interaction, whether big or small, contributes to the overall narrative of our lives. I hope that as you read this, you're smiling at how far we've come. I hope you learn to balance being in the spotlight with stepping back to appreciate the bigger picture. I hope you surrounded yourself with an amazing cast of characters who support you, challenge you, and make your story richer. And hey, if you manage to figure out how to bake the perfect birthday cake with buttercream or the meaning of life, feel free to send that information back in time. But if not, that's okay too, because the joy is in the journey, not the destination. Keep shining, future me. But remember, sometimes the best way to shine is to reflect the light onto others. Here are my 2 ounces of wisdom, and I wish there's a way that you can write me back and share your 2 pounds of wisdom with me. Maybe if AI has evolved to the point where people can send information back in time. Cause oh my, do I wish to be as wise as my 30-year-old self. With love, wisdom, and just a touch of playfulness. Your 26-year-old self. P.S. If time travel has been invented in your time, please resist the urge to come back and give me the winning lottery numbers. I have a feeling that that would mess up the whole personal growth thing that we've got going on. PSS, or maybe just do it. We can have a different personal growth journey, and an extra $1 million won't hurt. After all, let's think of all the birthday parties that we could throw.